expelling 60 diplomats from Russia not only swept up U.S. spies, it swept up so many spies as to at least partially cripple the U.S. spying operations in Russia. That suggests the practice is widespread, perhaps more than previously imagined. It's also difficult to argue that it is not the administration's fault. Given Russia's penchant for identical retaliatory measures, the expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats could have been predicted to lead to 60 American diplomats getting booted, which is exactly what happened. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. UPI reports Elon Musk has decided not to take Tesla private after considering to do so earlier this month. Musk, the CEO of the electronic vehicle and energy company, attributed the decision to the will of his investors. A statement from Musk said, although the majority of shareholders I spoke to said they would remain with Tesla if we went private, the sentiment in a nutshell was, please don't do this. Among their objections, Musk said some investors noted they have internal compliance issues that limit how much they can invest in a private company. Musk added that time and money also motivated the decision. Musk said, this is a problem because we absolutely must stay focused on ramping Model 3 and becoming profitable. We will not achieve our mission of advancing sustainable energy unless we are also financially sustainable. Musk announced the decision Friday after meeting with the board of directors Thursday to let them know he believes staying public was the best move going forward. The board agreed. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Saturday rejected key elements of President Donald Trump's May executive orders that would make it easier to fire federal employees and reduce their abilities to bargain collectively. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia said in a court order that Trump's orders, which also would reduce the amount of time low-performing employees had to improve their performance before being fired, undermine federal employees' right to bargain collectively. Trump signed 3 executive orders in May that administration officials said would have given government agencies greater ability to remove employees with poor performance, obtain better deals in union contracts, and require federal employees with union responsibilities to spend less time on union work. The directives drew immediate criticism from the American Federation of Government Employees, which said the moves would hurt veterans, law enforcement officers, and others. Jackson ruled that while the president has the authority to issue executive orders relating to federal labor relations, the orders cannot eviscerate the right to bargain collectively as envisioned in a long-standing federal statute. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A Japanese-American internment facility was still in operation in the mountains of Northern California. The facility should have been closed in 1945 and its 6,000 residents released, but unfortunately the camp was overlooked until this week. I am happy to announce, however, that the remaining 118 detainees have now been fully exonerated of suspicion of spying for General Tojo, and they have been freed. Next item of business. The President will be meeting with the Australian Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. Yes, Denise?
This is a huge oversight. How could this have happened?
Well, Denise, it looks like the camp just somehow slipped through the cracks. The end of the Second World War was a hectic time in America, and it's only natural that we let a couple of things slip in our excitement over defeating the Nazis.
Who is going to be held responsible for this? Congressional investigation?
No, there won't. In fact, the War Relocation Authority was responsible for the decommissioning of the internment facilities, but that organization ceased to exist in 1946, so no.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. If you're listening to my voice and it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time. You can call in and talk about whatever you want. As a matter of fact, let me go back. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, you can call in and talk about whatever you want. You don't need to be listening to my voice. Some people aren't. Some people are listening in places around the United States, including Moab, Utah?
Yes.
And they may be listening to us delayed broadcast, is what they call it in the business.
Yep. Moab recently added the show a couple of weeks ago, KCPX 1490 AM. So thank you to all of the listeners out there that are now hearing our voice, wondering, who are these guys?
Are you were you familiar with Moab prior to them coming on board?
I have no clue where Moab is.
It's in Utah.
Yeah, I am aware of that. But as far as like where in the state, nope. I just know there was the radio station. I've been calling, and program director a few months ago said we're actually looking at shaking some things up. And
Moab is a special little town. It doesn't take itself terribly seriously, but it has it punches above its weight as far as its population size and that sort of thing.
Okay.
I remember I took a trip across the United States in 1998 in a van, and I had a stop off in Moab. It was very pleasant, pretty uneventful for me generally, but I remember this bumper sticker I saw several times on my trip across the United States, out west. I never saw it in the east. And it said London, Paris, Moab. And the suggestion is that Moab is somehow in the league of, London, Paris. I think it was London, Paris, New York, Moab. And
all right, so there is a Paris, Texas.
Yes, that's true.
There's probably
there's a lot of Londons. Yeah.
Yeah. There may or may not be a New York other than New York City or the state.
There's certainly a Manhattan, Kansas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
And I guess what one of my thought is I just always have this warm, pleasant feeling about Moab. Just like thinking about it. And that's hard to get for a town. How many towns do you think of and think, that's nice? And that's what I think. Obviously, you didn't know much about it prior.
There aren't many towns that I spend my day thinking about.
Well, they pop into your head, and probably you think nothing positive or negative about the town that popped into your head. Or often, if towns,
I really like Sedona.
Sedona's a nice place. There's no doubt. I spent a little time there. It's beautiful. It's supposed to be the spiritual center, as it were. I don't know whether I don't know. That's all up to you and your experience in Sedona. But it's got that reputation.
I liked it.
Yeah, very nice. Going on. The number here is 855-450-3733. Another option for call-ins is through our Discord. You'll sound great, by the way. Audio levels go way up when you do Discord. All you have to do is go to discord.freetalklive.com, and it'll take you from there. You can either get the app or you can just use the web version, whatever. You need a better microphone pointed at you, but oftentimes...
Headphones, you need headphones.
Headphones are good. Often, those things are all good, but need is probably a strong word. I think you still sound better without.
No, there have been people that have called in using whatever the speaker audio, and you get feedback.
Okay.
You do not want to use speaker audio on your laptop or your desktop when you're making a telephone call.
There you go. Discord.freetalklive.com. Looks like we've got some calls in here, so rather than jumping into show prep, I'm going to just take calls.
All right.
Michael, Virginia Beach. As I was saying, you don't have to be listening. Michael, I believe, is not. Michael, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, yes. I was your last caller.
I know. You were grumpy for having to wait.
Well, 2 hours and 45 minutes is a long wait.
Yes. Let me explain just for you and everybody else who might be listening. One of the difficulties of running a radio talk show, especially one called Free Talk Live, means that people want to call in and they want to talk on the radio, and you have called in many times, and we thank you for your calls. But what Ian's going to do generally is if he recognizes a caller, he's going to take callers he doesn't recognize first. It's not intended to besmirch your call or anything like that. It's just intended to give new people who may never have called or don't call often enough the opportunity to get on first. There's another guy who
and especially
had a similar
on Saturdays,
situation.
because Saturdays are call-heavy shows anyway.
Yeah, it's going to be heavy on Saturdays. Go right ahead, Michael.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that explanation. I said last night that I believe the Bible when it says that Jesus Christ is the Messiah of Israel, the promised Messiah of Israel, and that he will rule the world with a rod of iron, not just America. And I said that spells a whole lot of trouble for Mark and Ian.
I wondered what it meant. It sounded rather prophetic.
Yeah. Well, you will have an opportunity, I hope, to change your tune when you know better what I meant by that.
What did you mean by that? I wasn't on the show last night. I wasn't listening to the show last night. What did you mean?
Well, this is the explanation that I was invited to call back and give, so you haven't missed anything. Here's the deal. We have to have a transition to a worldwide monarchy.
We have to?
We have to.
Okay.
Says whom?
And those of us who are real Christians, I don't mean nominal Christians, I mean real Christians, understand that the world has to be transformed into a one-man global kingdom. And we believe that requires preparation on our part, such as not allowing the world's greatest Protestant republic to be overrun by idolaters and drug addicts from Mexico. So the requirements for transition are stringent, and we are moving into that stringent period now. What you were seeing in the phenomenon taking place on your daily news about all the pedophiles in a given church, and there's more than one, so I'm not going to name
Several
one.
dioceses in Pennsylvania, Catholic dioceses, have been, there's been this report that came out. Let me ask you this real quick. Michael, your calls throughout the years have definitely been anti-Catholic. How do you feel about, like, Greek Orthodox folks?
Love Roman Catholic people, love Greek Orthodox people. Every group has its own particular genius, talent, and contribution to make to the global society. Only an idiot would take a different position. I don't hate people because of their religious affiliation, but there are certain law-abiding prerequisites that must be satisfied in order to create a worldwide government.
What about when the laws are unjust? Should people follow unjust laws?
No, we are not going to be endorsing any unjust laws. Now,
well, you said people need to follow the law, and sometimes the law is bad. So should people follow laws that are bad and unjust?
We're talking about the law of Christ, not the law of any two-bit politician.
And you're also saying that you want some kind of one-world monarchy, even though the Bible says, and I believe this is a quote from Yeshua, he says, "My kingdom is not of this earth."
So please hold the line, Michael. We got some questions here. Just hold the line, and maybe we can get right to the point on this one here in the next segment. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live.
On August 24th, 1992, 20 eager Cardozo Law students filed into a small room to kick off the first day of Barry Scheck and Peter Newfield's Innocence Project clinic. After years as public defenders in New York City, Barry and Peter started the clinic to review cases of people in prison who could prove their innocence using DNA testing. What they thought was a few hundred cases turned out to be thousands and a clear sign that the system needed repair. At the time, no one imagined that Barry's and Peter's vision would evolve into a national organization with the power to reform the criminal justice system 26 years later. Since that August day in 1992, there are now 565 Cardozo Law School clinic students trained, and the Innocence Project has celebrated 208 exonerations. They've also worked together to pass over 150 laws in the U.S. to help prevent wrongful convictions. You can support the Innocence Project by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save AT-Purse.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. And it's Mark with you.
And Darryl. And libertarians, for at least a decade that I'm aware of, have wanted a directory of liberty-minded businesses. And people have tried to, bring one of these things to market, and they've never really taken off. But Liberty.menu seems to have done that.
Right. There's very few organizations that can, libertarian organizations that can get behind something and make it fly. I think Free Talk Live is one of those organizations.
Liberty.menu is a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed, kind of like on Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. Liberty.menu.
We're going back to Michael. He has predicted the return of Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ will rule in a one-world government, one-world monarchy with an iron rod. And he did predict a little bit of trouble specifically for Free Talk Live with that iron rod, and maybe more generally for a heck of a lot of other people. And Michael, I'm going to try to keep Darryl on a leash here from asking theological questions from you. And I want to find out about this iron rod. What is this? Is this an allegory? Is Jesus going to actually have an iron rod? What's he going to do with the iron rod? What's the plan here?
Well, what it means is no flexible leniency that simply amounts to bribery, corruption, nepotism, favoritism, pardons, clemency, and all kinds of things to get your cronies off when they're caught red-handed.
So are you saying that there's going to be bureaucrats in Jesus' one world government? I mean, is he going to have people hired to do things? I would kind of think that he's got all kinds of powers, and that it would be when you have a one person ruling monarchy, like quite frankly, it would be one person.
Well, we will have a swift and smooth transition from the governments that we have right now. We have people in place all over the world who are prepared for this transition and prepared to facilitate it in a very, very smooth and orderly fashion. These are people who understand that we have to put the children first. So the use of religion to abuse children will be the number one item on the agenda for arresting crooked prosecutors who have not done their job, for arresting crooked media people who have not exposed this corruption, and for arresting crooked religious clerics who have helped to perpetuate it. So the focus will be the first change, just as the scripture says, judgment must begin at the house of God. You're seeing it now. You heard today on the news that the former ambassador to the Vatican, a former archbishop, has just today called for Pope Francis to resign as one of the
What did Pope Francis do? I mean, did he call this behavior, like, I can't remember what the quote is, but the quote was rather forceful. I hadn't heard anything quite so forceful out of the Catholic Church in some time.
According to the former Archbishop and former U.S. ambassador to the Vatican, the Pope has been complicit in facilitating these pedophiles and keeping them from being punished.
Well, I am interested in seeing what happens in the future. Michael, thank you for the call. It's obviously a terrible, terrible thing coming out of this is in Pennsylvania, the diocese. And one would presume when you're talking about several dioceses with, what was it, hundreds of situations, hundreds of abused people, hundreds of situations, that this is probably going on elsewhere. I've got a solution for that. Then again, this is an outsider, and outsiders are generally not listened to.
Right.
But my solution is stop with the whole celibacy thing. That because you make sex a big deal in becoming a priest, you therefore get people who are trying to run from sexual problems. And they presume that becoming a priest is somehow getting frocked, is going to somehow fix their problem. And it's not. Whatever your problem is, you got to fix it on your own.
Right. You can't run from your problems.
So, my first advice is fix your problem, especially if your problem involves abuse of children. Fix it right away. Don't do another thing like that. Second, don't get involved in that. And the Catholic Church, stop doing the celibacy thing. This is one of the reasons you've got so many people who are this reputation of priests being gay. Well, because back some decades ago, people would try to run from that to the priesthood. And it's already possible for a priest to be married and be a Catholic priest. I know that an Anglican priest can switch from being Anglican to Catholic and keep his wife. So there's already opportunity. Fix it. It's not that hard. Let's go to James calling in, KWTO out of looks like Springfield. James, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, folks. Wondering if you guys might have any answer as to when did about all possession of small quantities of drugs in Missouri become instant felonies, which ruined so many people's careers.
No, I didn't know that small amounts of marijuana, possession of small amounts of marijuana.
No, he's asking if we knew when the laws changed in Missouri. We're not from Missouri, and I've never done any research on drug laws in Missouri.
Okay, well...
Can you tell me your story?
Yes, and the only support available to someone who's been locked out of employment for this reason is Social Security, which for someone early in their career makes survival continuously more difficult, particularly after because you're in not a good neighborhood, surviving a burglary of all your accumulated what you had counted on to be able to sell later in your life for support.
Man, that's rough stuff. Did they get you on a drug test, or was this just a small amount of weed? What happened?
It was a item from a passed away aunt brought to me by a cousin that turned out upon inspection by a highway patrolman to have a small quantity, minuscule quantity, of marijuana residue in what had been my aunt's purse. And she was from...
that is frightening. James, thank you for the call. I appreciate it. The 855-450-FREE.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Turning to health news, doctors at Johns Hopkins Medical School have discovered that bones are the coolest part of the body. The 10-year study found that although the body has many cool things in it, nothing is cooler than your skeleton.
Just think about it. You have this soft, fleshy body, but inside of it, there's a second, tinier body that's made out of a super hard rock. Our data is conclusive. Bones are very, very cool.
To conduct the study, researchers examined every single body part and determined how cool or uncool it was.
We initially thought the brain might be the coolest part because it's like a computer that runs on food. But when we looked at it up close, it was all gross and wrinkled. Brains are not cool. Bones are cool.
Doctors discovered that there are big, strong bones like baseball bats in your arms and legs, hand bones that look like a monster claw, and skull bones that make a scary face. Doctors did caution that as cool as human bones are, they're not nearly as cool as dinosaur bones.
This is the Onion News Network.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live's live Sunday edition. It is Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. And maybe, if you listen to Free Talk Live, there's a pretty good chance, especially if you listen regularly, that you're into cryptocurrency. If you're into cryptocurrency, a great way to spread adoption is to give crypto as tips. Well, Ian, really, Ian created a system called cryptotip.org where you go and you can create these little business card size paper wallets, basically.
I don't know if you could say he created the system. There was a previous site that seems to be defunct.
Yep.
Ian paid a programmer to decompile that site and then recompile a new site.
Okay, so improve upon a system.
Yes.
How's that? Yeah. And it's an excellent outreach tool. These little business-sized card printable cryptocurrency tips allow you to choose the size of the tip to print. So you can put $5 on there, $25, whatever. You'll get email notifications when tips are redeemed. You can make notes in the tips, like where you left it and to whom, and that'll come back to you on your admin page. Redeemed tips. This, I think, is the best feature. Unredeemed tips expire and return to you. So rather than just having, some tip on a paper wallet that's gone forever, destroying that money, now you get it returned. So you can either give the tip or you get it back. And I think it's great. Cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Let's go to Robert calling in. He's listening on LRN.FM. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I called in last night and slipped up and used a word, I guess, that's banned, and I'd like to finish up. It was about driving without a license.
There are a few words that are banned on the FCC licensed radio stations.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that.
No problem.
I was quoting, and I'll watch it from now on. But I wanted to finish up what I was talking about. It's not just that I drive around without a license.
Please reset where you started, so that the people who were not listening last night, and many aren't, can know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, well, I just heard them say that they wanted to hear from somebody there. I guess Mark or somebody. And
this is me. Yep.
They wanted to hear. Yeah, you wanted to hear from somebody who drives around without a license. And I was just saying that I do. I mean, I don't do it intentionally to aggravate anybody. I just can't morally justify standing in line and begging strangers for permission to drive. You know?
Yeah.
And it's risky. Okay. I've been pulled over about maybe 24 times now, and you know, so far it's been okay. But I mean, I'd say 1 out of 10 are really nasty cops. But the other 9 out of 10 understand what I'm talking about, and then they let me drive away without a license or a tag or anything else, and dark tinted windows.
I'm not sure they necessarily understand your position. I think it's more they don't want to deal with the paperwork and a court hearing.
Well, I mean, that's what they do for a living, though, right?
Right. Well, they could have got me.
Generally, they hand out tickets to people that they know are going to just pay the ticket. The vast majority of people that get a speeding ticket, and Mark, you're looking like you don't believe me.
I don't know.
The vast majority of people that get a speeding ticket just pay the ticket.
That much is absolutely true. However, I can tell you this, that my wife's ex-boyfriend from long ago was a cop, and she said that he said, I believe every word of this, that he loved it when people would take his tickets to trial because he got overtime for that. That's not
I'm
his
sure
scheduled
that
stuff.
there are some people that love it.
Yep.
When I worked hospital security, I would make decisions based on what choice would have the least amount of paperwork after I made the choice.
Okay.
Some people loved staying after to fill out incident reports. I didn't.
Go ahead, Robert.
Well, it's not like they don't try to get me. I mean, I'll give you one instance. I was in front of the Bohemian Hotel in Kissimmee, and there were Kissimmee, Florida, and there were 3 deputy sheriffs. And I had dark tinted windows, and the windshield was tinted, and I was over the fire lane like a foot or something. And I had 3 cops coming at me, and one of them was like, you know, look, why don't you just take the ticket, fix your license, you know, get your registration fixed, get the tin off there. So why would I want to do any of that stuff? I don't want to do any of that. And then another cop was like, well, look, I have 3 choices. I could arrest you, I could give you a bunch of tickets, or I could do nothing. And I said, I'll take that last one. What was that, 3 or C? I'll take that last one. Do nothing, just like you found me doing when you got here. And I get them to resolve it peacefully. The 3rd cop came up. He actually was their sergeant. He got on the phone, and he came back. He said, Mr. Landa, we're going to leave you alone. I said, thank you, because they can't morally justify. Well, I forgot that part. I asked them to morally justify what they're doing, and then they always resort to the law. Well, the law says this. I'm not talking about politicians' opinions. I'm talking about how can you personally morally justify threatening to harm a peaceful person to force them to pay you and obey you. And they get stumped. They don't know what to say.
Well, the guy who called in last night would say, you have no constitutional right to drive. Driving is a privilege, would be his claim.
And I'd go, right, I'm not talking about the Constitution. I'm talking about you. You have personal moral principles, don't you? How can you morally justify this? And if you can't morally justify it here, how can you do it in front of a jury? Because I've been in front of a jury. And I'll take this to a jury and a civil jury. You got a nice house and a nice car? I never had to really do that, but I'm ready to take any of them to court, and they know that. So, yes, there is easier fish to
Do you
fry
think you're going to
out there.
have any luck taking a cop to court with their, what do they call that, limited liability? And
they've got all kinds of immunities.
Yeah.
I used to them personally. You know, you go after their house, you go after their business if they have one, or
So
whatever
is this
they're
this-
doing. I mean, there's got to be a way.
Is this sovereign citizen thing with the paperwork terrorism? I think it's how I've heard it called. I don't know anything about it, but I would presume that one could put some kind of go after people's.
Well, there have been people that have just filed like $5 million liens on the property of every bureaucrat in town. That's the thing that has been deemed to be the paper terrorism. Filing a lawsuit in court, I don't think that I've ever heard that referred to as paper terrorism.
Okay.
Well, I think it's just the threat, because, they know I've been to court. The cops down there know me. They know my car. I get pulled over at least a dozen times in Orlando, Kissimmee, Polk County. And the last cop I ran into when they pulled me over, as soon as I asked him to morally justify it, he puts his hand up. He says, "I'm not answering that. I'm not having anything to do with that."
I must say, I think you've gotten lucky in your in the police in the police lottery that you've dealt with. I personally, I mean, I do not want to see you in any kind of legal trouble or anything like that. I'm on your side. I just got to say, I think you've gotten lucky as far as driving without a driver's license. Robert, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Call in with more stories in the future.
And Mark, as far as the Constitution goes about, it doesn't say drive or travel or etc. It doesn't need to. The Ninth Amendment, and whether you believe the Constitution protects rights or whatever, it is the document that supposedly limits the government, and the Ninth Amendment says the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. Meaning, the stuff in Amendment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's not an exhaustive list. You have a right to eat bacon for breakfast if you want to.
As long as you paid for it.
Or grew it yourself, whatever. There's not, some kind of thing of, here's an exhaustive list of everything that you get to do. Because you've never come up with everything.
Right. The founders knew that much, at the very least.
So, just because we didn't say it, doesn't mean you don't have the right.
855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. Free Talk Live, or you can use Discord, discord.freetalklive.com.
Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global. Drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
Zencash has changed their name to Horizon to better represent their transition from a cryptocurrency to a pioneering platform that protects consumer data. They are working towards the day when anyone will be able to build privacy-based applications on the Horizon platform. The unique spelling of Horizon is a nod to their heritage and recognizes that they remain committed to the vision that their project was built upon. Their coin and ticker symbol remain ZEN. Learn more at horizon.global and join the Horizon community. HORIZEN.global.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Ovaltine. Give your kids the nutrition they need to be their best. Visit us at ovaltineusa.com. Telling your child about healthy food choices is important, but showing her what to eat goes a lot further. Have her help create the grocery list, then bring her to the store with you. Picking out healthy foods together helps kids get in the habit of thinking about what they're eating every day. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. I swear we do have show prep, but we will take your calls. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. Darryl, you're ready with all the show prep? I didn't get it all lined up.
I'm ready with some of it.
The number is 855-450-3733. Let's go to Keith calling in from Florida. Listening on TalkStream Live. Now, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Florida Man.
Hey, how you guys doing? Very first time listening to your show, found it accidentally. Find you guys very entertaining.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was just referring to a previous caller you had. I had never heard a Christian state that they were waiting for a global government for Christ to come back and rule on. I've always heard it the exact opposite.
Yeah, me too.
Where basically, like in the book of Daniel, it mentions a beast that devours the entire earth. The book of Daniel was describing various beasts, which were various kingdoms that came within the earth. And the last one that they mentioned was one that devoured the entire earth. And that was supposed to be the Antichrist, his global government. Christ comes after that. And that's the way I've always heard it. And I wonder if we're getting closer to the end times, maybe, that the idea that the first global government is going to be for Christ is something to trick a lot of wayward Christians, possibly, or something. I don't know. But I just found it fascinating that someone was talking about that, and it was the complete opposite of everything I have ever heard.
I had heard that, again, I believe this is all hokum, frankly. But of the hokums that I've heard different ones. And as I think that, well, if you're going to make a prophecy, you make it intentionally cryptic, right? I mean, that's how all the movies do it. And you got to have it so that people misinterpret. Some people are misinterpreting. Otherwise, it's gonna be, if you just say, this is what's going to happen, folks, and do your bullet points, it's not prophecy anymore. That's just that's an itinerary. And but what I'd heard was something to the effect of, first you're going to have the old Antichrist come, and the number of the beast and that whole thing, and then the trump will sound, and the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I guess Jesus is supposed to be in front of them. I'm not entirely clear how what the writing order is when the apocalypse.
No, that's not. Jesus isn't supposed to be in front of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
Okay.
No.
And then you got this ruling for 1,000 years thing. That's what Jesus does here on earth. And then at some point
after the Antichrist, and
yes, it is.
Right. And something interesting, not to get too far off here, but a lot of people misinterpret Antichrist because in the English language we think of the word anti to be the complete opposite of, but in the original text it's basically meant to mean a false Christ, so one who claims to be the Christ but is in fact not.
Everything else you said, you got really confused. I could tell you probably don't study this, you're not a Christian or a believer or anything. But the last thing you said hit right on the nail. The original text basically were saying in place of Christ, someone who comes in place of, not someone who is the opposite of. So the idea of, this guy with horns and a pitchfork torturing everybody on the planet is completely wrong. He's going to seem extremely benevolent, extremely kind. He's going to sound like he's for law and order, and it's just something to trick people. He's trying to come in place of the true ruler and usurp his authority.
Have you ever imagined that you know who the Antichrist is at any given time in your life?
Absolutely not. I think that's a fool's errand. I remember, I'm old enough to remember when leftists basically would say that Ronald Reagan was the Antichrist because he had 6 letters in each of his names, Ronald Wilson Reagan.
Okay.
I think I heard one person telling me that Barack Obama was the Antichrist.
I've heard pretty much everything.
Basically every politician, somebody, somewhere.
And every pope. They get it too. I guess, you're right. Darryl, you would self-identify as Christian, right?
I don't use the term, but I share most of the belief.
Yeah, you're a believer, whereas I am not. Go ahead.
Are you agnostic or are you atheist?
I am a Quaker. And what I believe is that God is continually revealing him or her itself to us on an ongoing basis, and that makes the Bible largely irrelevant. That the Bible is the written words of people who are experiencing God themselves at a particular time, and that's, while interesting, not binding to me today necessarily.
That is fascinating. So you're actually a Quaker? You're not putting me on?
No, yeah, I'm actually a Quaker.
He goes to Quaker meeting every week.
Yeah, is that? Oh, no kidding. That is. Yeah, I've heard of Quakers, but I've never actually delved into what Quakers believe as a sect.
I don't know that I don't know that I have told you what Quakers believe. As a matter of fact, I don't know that you could talk to any one Quaker and find out what Quakers believe.
Well, I understand that. The same goes with every denomination.
Oh no, it goes much. Just imagine that amplified with Quakers.
Well, like the way that Catholics believe in the Virgin Mary and say the Rosary, and that's pretty much stereotypical of all Catholics. Would you say that Quakers believe that the Bible is basically just the word of man and not something that should be relied on?
No, Quakers definitely do not believe that. There are different types of Quakers out there. There's what they call liberal and conservative Quakers, and there's programmed and unprogrammed. So you could have several different types. I go to a meeting that is both liberal and unprogrammed. Now, liberal doesn't mean Democrats, although it does. It does largely mean Democrats. There's a lot of darned Obama stickers going on at Quaker meetings. I really hate the ones with the O and the peace sign in it. You're telling me the guy who claims monopoly privilege and the use of violence on a global scale should have a peace sign in his name? I find that to be...
The guy that during his 8 years, on average, was responsible for a bomb dropping every 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I do not agree with Quakers on that particular point, but yeah, there's a lot of liberal Quakers that are also liberal people. Liberal simply means that they allow anyone who believes anything to come in their meetings. I think
so. Is it more Unitarian?
What's that? They're Unitarian in that, but Unitarian means you're talking about the UU Church. Unitarian means that everybody goes to heaven. I'm not sure that every Quaker would believe that, or that even every liberal Quaker would believe that.
So is it more universal? I always get the term universalist and Unitarian confused.
Universalist means everybody goes to heaven. Unitarian means that there is one God.
Okay.
So who knows what all that goes into.
Christianity could be a very confusing subject here.
Indeed it is. Thanks for the call, Keith. Appreciate it.
Great show, guys. I'm really enjoying it.
Well, we'll offend you before it's all over.
All right.
Hopefully not too bad, though.
Thanks for the call, Keith. The number is 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Darryl, before we go on with the topic, you can tease it here for the next segment, but before we go, what is it?
U.S.
I got the
judge
bargaining thing.
The judge has wound up in a surprising Saturday ruling, coming out against some Trump executive orders that he signed back in May that were supposed supposed to have made it easier to fire federal employees and maybe make it harder for them to collectively bargain?
Okay. I want to ask you, now I'd said we're on the religious topic, and I think that there's an interesting question to be had here. You said that you basically believe like a Christian, but you don't call yourself a Christian. What's that all about?
Well, because so many people that do call themselves Christian don't really act like Christ. And the term Christian is supposed to mean someone who acts like Christ. So when you have people that are advocating for all kinds of wars and control over other people, that's not, really acting Christ-like.
I guess I would give anyone who wants to call themselves a Christian a pass because I understand that there's just lots of different beliefs when it comes to Christianity. If you can talk to somebody, I feel like you can talk to somebody a little more if you call yourself a Christian, and you can relate to them if they're calling themselves a Christian. You can relate to them on that particular level, and you can, I suppose, quote scripture or whatever it is that one does in these circumstances. Often this devolves, mind you. It's not the way I would want to communicate with somebody on a moral basis. To me, I like my morals. My son asked me what morality was today. I said morality is not harming another person unless they've harmed you first. And that is nice and simple, lays it right out there. And that's what many religions have failed to do is to encapsulate it just that quickly. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live, or use the Discord app, discord.freetalklive.com.
Heart-related health problems affect millions of people each year. Maybe you're one of the many who suffer from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, unbalanced cholesterol, irregular heartbeat, or clogged arteries. There is a solution that doesn't involve expensive prescription drugs that only mask the problem and leave you with horrible side effects. If you are ready to live your life free of sickness, pain, and fear, live your life with increased vitality, energy, and youthfulness, and experience your body healing itself, then you're ready for Heart and Body Extract from Healthy Hearts Club. Here is what one satisfied customer had to say about Heart and Body Extract regarding his angina pain.
I haven't had an angina pain since I've been on it. The Heart Body Extract is just so great. I thank God that I was led to this product that's doing so much for me and that can do so much for other people.
Call to order your 2-month supply of Heart and Body Extract today. Call 1-866-295-5305 or go to hbextract.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.82 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,206 per ounce. Zen is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,702. Antiwar.com reports in March, Russia retaliated for the U.S. expulsion of Russian diplomats with the closure of a U.S. consulate and the expulsion of 60 American diplomats. U.S. officials were quoted in the New York Times on Friday confirming that this included a number of U.S. spies. Exactly how many spies were expelled from Russia in this closure is not clear, but the officials quoted said that the loss of intelligence officers has hurt collection efforts for the intelligence community. This was apparently a substantial blow to the U.S. spies operating inside Russia, and combined with increased counterintelligence efforts by Russia, they say the CIA and other U.S. spy agencies are increasingly in the dark about Russia's intentions. And while that's certainly interesting in and of itself, the admission is more startling, as it is a de facto admission that U.S. officials in Russia as diplomatic agents were illegally operating as spies against their hosting country. While there have been reports in the past that the U.S. uses its embassies and consular officers as secret spy posts, and at times uses diplomatic immunity to get spies into other countries with legal protection, this is not what embassy staff are supposed to be doing. Yet expelling 60 diplomats from Russia not only swept up U.S. spies, it swept up so many spies as to at least partially cripple the U.S. spying operations in Russia. That suggests the practice is widespread, perhaps more than previously imagined. It's also difficult to argue that it is not the administration's fault. Given Russia's penchant for identical retaliatory measures, the expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats could have been predicted to lead to 60 American diplomats getting booted, which is exactly what happened.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. UPI reports Elon Musk has decided not to take Tesla private after considering to do so earlier this month. Musk, the CEO of the electronic vehicle and energy company, attributed the decision to the will of his investors. A statement from Musk said, although the majority of shareholders I spoke to said they would remain with Tesla if we went private, the sentiment in a nutshell was, please don't do this. Among their objections, Musk said some investors noted they have internal compliance issues that limit how much they can invest in a private company. Musk added that time and money also motivated the decision. Musk said, this is a problem because we absolutely must stay focused on ramping Model 3 and becoming profitable. We will not achieve our mission of advancing sustainable energy unless we are also financially sustainable. Musk announced the decision Friday after meeting with the board of directors Thursday to let them know he believes staying public was the best move going forward. The board agreed. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. Reuters reports a federal judge on Saturday rejected key elements of President Donald Trump's May executive orders that would make it easier to fire federal employees and reduce their abilities to bargain collectively. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia said in a court order that Trump's orders, which also would reduce the amount of time low-performing employees had to improve their performance before being fired, undermine federal employees' right to bargain collectively. Trump signed 3 executive orders in May that administration officials said would have given government agencies greater ability to remove employees with poor performance, obtain better deals in union contracts, and require federal employees with union responsibilities to spend less time on union work. The directives drew immediate criticism from the American Federation of Government Employees, which said the moves would hurt veterans, law enforcement officers, and others. Jackson ruled that while the president has the authority to issue executive orders relating to federal labor relations, the orders cannot eviscerate the right to bargain collectively as envisioned in a long-standing federal statute. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Big tech news this week as Microsoft has unveiled its new generation Xbox One. Designers say the console's revolutionary new voice command feature makes it easier than ever for the Xbox to control its users. According to Microsoft spokesman Don Matrick, quote, "The Xbox One is programmed with a host of simple voice commands that you will respond to instantly. In addition to phrases like jump, shoot, and insert game disc, users will also understand more complicated instructions like download Call of Duty Update or come into the room and turn on Xbox."
The Xbox One tells us what games to play, what music to listen to, what shows to watch.
Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving, quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Kicking off the second hour of Free Talk Live's Live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about Free Talk Live and just how live it is. There are 3 out of the 6 hours that we are on the weekend, and we're on 7 days a week, but we are, because we're on 7 days a week, we're on the weekend.
Yes.
And of those...
Because weekends are days of the week.
Of the 6 hours that we are on the weekend, every day from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 of those hours, last I calculated, this may have changed, but last I calculated, 3 of those hours, there is no competition in the entire United States as far as live syndicated radio content.
Interesting.
And the other 3 hours, it's there's some competition there, but you are welcome to call this. So this is your option to call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. And I'd like to say, I think that radio is superior to Facebook, for instance. When you pop on Facebook, you put your little post or vague book there for your friends, that kind of thing. I feel like in some cases I get into these conversations with people on particular topics, and I don't feel like they're honest with the way that they argue or they make their point or whatever it might be.
Right, because a lot of times, and this has been, my experience, a lot of times people fall into this false binary choice of you don't like X, so therefore you like Y, and Y is evil.
Yes.
Well, no, just because I don't drink Coke doesn't mean that I give money to Pepsi.
But I will say that beyond that, if you make a good point, it's rarely acknowledged. I try to acknowledge people's points here, even if I disagree with them. Yes, that's true. I'll try to say things like that. I don't think that people do that at all on social media. It's all about defeating the other person, and whereas
we gotta wake them up.
Yeah, right. All the stuff that goes into it. Yeah. Here on Free Talk Live, whatever it is, I hope you'll get a fair hearing. That's my goal.
And let's try to actually have conversations instead of just yelling at each other, and I think we do a pretty good job of that.
We do our best. There's times that I'm sure that we fail, and certainly if somebody calls in and disagrees with us on whatever the topic might be, somebody's always gonna feel like, well, that didn't go as well as I'd hoped.
Right.
The number's 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Let's hope that this call from the Christian Anarchist goes as well as we'd hoped. Christian Anarchist, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I just called to holler at you guys.
All right,
go ahead.
No, I'm not going to holler. Listen, I wanted to talk about the sovereign man thing, but before that, I wanted to tell you what I'm doing tonight, and I'm doing taxes.
Oh my! You did not do taxes for 15 years or something.
Yeah, and there's nothing I hate more than doing taxes. I don't call them my taxes because they aren't my taxes. They're an extortion by the federal goons. But what I'm saying is that this is a miserable night for me.
I can imagine.
Because it's almost like digging into the pig stuff.
Slop.
The big stuff. Yeah,
Yes.
in the slop, in the pig pen, and it's not that, I don't know. It's just, to me, it makes me feel filthy dirty to have to do taxes. Anyway, sovereign man. Sovereign man. I know several people that have wound up on the inside of a prison because they followed the sovereign man stuff. So I would like to share a couple reasons why it's not a good idea for anybody to get into sovereign man. And number one is that the entire premise of the sovereign man is that your birth certificate is some kind of a contract with the state and blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, assuming that you know what's, if they're assuming that all of this law that you supposedly are under is somehow actually followed, number one.
Right. That's to me the most fallacious part of this, is that somehow there is an underpinning of the rule of law going on here.
Yeah. So number one, the Goonerman Goon Squad follows no law, and they don't care about law, and they only care about their power. But if they did follow contract law, because supposedly this whole sovereign man thing is based on contract law, there are three principles of contract law. Number one, you have to have a knowing disclosure of the agreement. You have to be competent to sign the agreement or to agree to the agreement, because all agreements don't have to be signed. They can be verbal. And the third one is you have to be of age. So how can my birth certificate have possibly entered me into any kind of contract when none of those three things are met on a contract? So,
right, and not to mention that no one can enter you into a contract without your permission.
I will say this, that a lot of times they go after the sovereign men, they go after the driver's license, that getting a driver's license, getting a government ID, voting in government elections, these things are some form of consent that we didn't all know about. And I know that, for instance, when you sign up for the military, they tell you that you must follow the Uniform Codes of Justice, or whatever the UCMJ, I think is what it's called, and that therefore no one reads all the UCMJ except for perhaps the JAG, somebody in the JAG Corps,
right?
And so when you sign the contract actually references this greater other form of law that you contract into, and I find that to be somewhat. They're not telling you everything, because you didn't see everything. Like, the contract you signed to get into the military is rather short in comparison to the UCMJ.
Right. And we sign a lot of contracts in our business. We're always signing contracts with other entities. The problem is nobody reads the contracts.
Sure.
We don't read those contracts that we sign. Now, after we get an idea of what's in there, and then we sign them, and then if something happens and we have to go to court, that's when we really find out what's in the contracts, because then the lawyers start fighting and throwing words back and forth over the table and saying, well, you agreed to this and you agreed to that. But even you'd buy a car, for Pete's sake, you don't even understand everything that's in the contract. So
the sovereign men have things about cars too.
Oh, it's not a car, it's an automobile, right, or something.
Right.
There's a piece of paper that you want to get that isn't the receipt, it's something else, the bill of lading, or I don't know.
Now, there's definitely some success in the sovereign man. I will not.
Yeah, there's enough to keep people digging.
Yeah. And I think the reason they have some success is some judges just say, I don't want to fool with you, get out of here. I think that's really the bottom line. Is some judges just get up that morning and they had an argument with their wife or whatever, and they you get in front of them and you spout off all this crazy stuff, and they say, I don't want to deal with you, case dismissed,
Right.
So I think,
and whatever the amount of money that they're going to get is small potatoes compared to extorting that courtroom full of other people.
Yeah, well, I don't think any of them have ever got a dime. I think all they ever get is cases dismissed.
Oh, I see. What you're saying is that supposedly there's this large amount of money that is secured by a birth certificate and that kind of thing, that the government creates new money every time somebody's born, and you could tap into that account and you'd be rich.
And they make claims. They make a claim against the judge or a lien against the judge saying, well, you owe me this much money. I don't think any of them have ever been paid a penny. I'd like to be proven wrong if somebody knows of somebody who's gotten paid a penny that way, or $1.
I'd love to be able to charge government people $500 per hour to interact with them.
$500? That's cheap from what I've heard most of the sovereign people charge.
I've heard they come up with lots of different numbers, but I've
heard it's like $50,000.
Whatever your number, it doesn't matter. I'd love to get paid $500 an hour just for interacting with the government, because, like, you're doing taxes right now.
I'd love an apology afterwards.
You're doing taxes right now, and this is what you're doing is you're being forced to fill out their paperwork for free. You're not getting paid for it. And then somebody like, I don't know, some anti-fascist out there would say, well, you don't like it, leave. Well, the United States government claims the fruit of your labor even if you leave the territory.
And I think it's the conservatives that would say that.
No, I just saw it here on the Discord group.
They have exit taxes.
Hold the line. Free Talk Live, 855-453.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Excuse me, is this where I get a license to start a new business?
I wouldn't be hasty. You have to get a license to go out of business, too, you know.
Oh, well, look, I've invented this little anti-gravity machine, see?
Oh, is that why you're walking 2 inches above the floor?
Oh, yes, it's very comfortable. It saves on shoe leather.
Yeah, well, you have to fill out these forms and report to the Human Services Department of Manpower Orientation and register with the Fair Employment Practice Commission, the Wage and Hour Division of the Employment Standards Administration, the State Sales and Income Tax Division, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Social Security Administration of the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, and, of course, OSHA.
OSHA? I thought that was a little town in Wisconsin.
You'll find out. Say, floating around like that could be dangerous. Have you checked with the Consumer Product Safety Commission?
Well, not yet.
Come to think of it, you actually are flying, aren't you? Look, you need to go over to the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation...
It's very hard to get anything done these days if you're in business, but free enterprise built this country. Think what could happen if we don't keep it free. A public service of this station and the Center for the Defense of Free Enterprise, Bellevue, Washington.
Besides, we just can't have people floating about unregulated, you know.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm. Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
We have on the line here the Christian anarchist, and he was, he's talking about doing his taxes and a variety of other things. I want to get right back to him with as quickly as I can, because we have on the line somebody who needs to get on very quickly. So, Gene, please, go on.
Yeah, just
wrap up.
Just quick. I can just go on to going to Somalia. You know, people say, well, if you don't like it here, move to Somalia. Okay, so let's say I pack up and I move to Somalia. If I am still a U.S. citizen, I'm living in Somalia, and I marry a Somalian lady, that all of our bank accounts in Somalia need to be taking taxes out and sending and withholding them for the IRS,
right?
Because and that's why it's hard for an expat to get a bank account when they're overseas, because of all the tax things that have to do with being a U.S. citizen and owing U.S. taxes. Yeah. So
it's the most immoral thing that from a tax standpoint that the government does. It's fascinatingly immoral. I could have moved to Somalia, for 10 years and live there for 10 years and not use any of the services the government claims. And if I make over X amount of dollars, they're going to claim that I owe them. Now, it's unlikely I'm going to move to Somalia.
Somalia let you in?
Who knows?
And here's another thing. Let's say you decide while you're living in Somalia that you want to give up your citizenship because you don't want to pay those taxes anymore. Now they have a big fee you have to pay in order to give up your citizenship, and whatever wealth you currently are worth, they want a percentage of your net value in order for you to give up your citizenship.
And didn't they just increase those fees?
Yes,
recently.
Now, a few years ago, they increased the fees, and so now there's this buying your freedom thing. They call it an exit tax, and
that's somewhere near like $5,000, I think.
Right. Well, that's just the minimum.
Right.
But that's the minimum.
That's just the fee for renouncing your citizenship.
Your net wealth. Yeah, plus a percentage of your net wealth.
Yeah, it's immoral as it could possibly be.
And then on top of that, you need to then buy citizenship somewhere else, lest you be a stateless person that
you have to have citizenship.
Absolutely no ability to travel anywhere.
This is why I say that citizenship is the new soft serfhood. Serfhood. Thanks for the call, Christian Anarchist. Appreciate the call. 855-450-3733. Let's go to AJ calling in from Jackson, Michigan. AJ, you're on Free Talk Live.
Make sure phone is unmuted on the pot.
Where's that?
The board, it says phone.
There it is. Yep, got it.
There we go. How about now?
AJ the activist.
Gotcha, AJ. What's up?
Good evening, Free Talk Live. I want to give a shout out, encourage you, thank you guys for what you're doing. There's a lot of injustices taking place in the criminal justice system across the United States. That's why the U.S. has become the prison capital of the world. And the key is, when you look at every one of the states, I mean, some of the states are as much as Russia and China per capita combined. It's unbelievable. A lot of people know about the 2.2 million on a daily basis, but they don't realize there's over 15 million people going through the prison system. One of the things we've done in here, I've been contacting the President of the United States. I've been contacting the governors. I've been contacting the media. I'm sorry?
How's that going?
It's not going too good. The courts are pretty corrupt right now. I mean, it's extremely corrupt.
It's extraordinarily corrupt. The idea that you can, so I believe you're in some kind of correctional facility there. The idea that you can defend yourself while in a correctional facility is laughable.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, and it's pretty bad. But the bottom line, one of the things we're doing here, we started what we call Prisoners for Liberty, and basically what we're doing, we're sharing the 6-page libertarian platform with other prisoners and letting them know that letting them take the test so that they can see. Most people are already realizing that they're already libertarian. They just don't realize it. And
that's the world's smallest political quiz. I think you can still go to quiz.freetalklive.com and take it. It's a fascinating little piece of activism. Go ahead.
And so what we're doing is, because right now in the United States there's 71 million people that have criminal records. That's 25% of the adult population. So what we're doing is we're encouraging others to get a hold of family members, go on talk radio, start websites, so that we can start educating the people so that we can change the corrupt. Because right now, the Washington cartel basically is what the career politicians that are in bed with the lobbyists and the special interest groups are what's corrupting the system. And when people realize, a lot of them are Democrats, but there's some Republicans doing the same thing too. But the bottom line is we're trying to educate people, and we're trying to start a movement throughout the United States so that we share the true belief, what the Libertarian Party is about, so that we can stop this corruption that's going on, because it's just one other tool that we can do. Because right now I've tried the court systems, I've tried the government, I've tried the media. I mean, most of the media is in bed with them anyhow. 80% is in bed with them, the mainstream media. I mean, there's only 20% left that's not been corrupted. But the bottom line is, and even they have an agenda there, so they're not broadcasting a lot of the stuff. Every day what I do is I study the law, and I've found what they call law reviews. It's unbelievable. When you see the corruption that's going on in this country, it's unbelievable. I mean, I was running a business out there. I had no idea this kind of corruption was going on, no idea whatsoever. I've only been in politics for the last 6 months, but I'm learning really fast. I'm self-taught, like I said, and so we're trying to start a movement. We're looking for help from other prisoners across the United States to let people know about what the Libertarian platform stands for, so that we can start changing this country, even if it's one vote at a time.
What sort of help are you looking for?
Well, I need people to help with the website. I need simple stuff. I'll pay for this stuff. There's no problem, because I was running a business out there. I'm not trying to get anything for free, but I need people helping, starting up, like, for instance, we're starting up a group called Mothers Against Mass Incarceration. It already got started, but it's just not got off the ground yet. And then also, the other group that we're starting is Prisoners for Liberty, which basically is sharing the libertarian platform so that we can get people voting for libertarians, because right now the government this country is being really destroyed, and with the corruption from within, and most people don't know about it unless you're in that 25% of adults that have gone through the criminal justice system, and you realize how corrupt it is. Other than that, the other 75% of adults have no idea what's going on. And when I tell them something like that, it's like I'm on drugs. But after I actually, what I do is I print out the law reviews and I send them to the president. I send probably 2 letters with eight sets of documents every month to the President of the United States, to the Paul Ryan. I send them to the United Nations. I send them to the International Court of Justice, the International Criminal Court overseas. I'm sending this stuff to everybody and anybody to listen, because, we don't have...
You have 1 minute remaining.
We don't have time to go over everything, but I would like to call back.
He's got 1 minute remaining, apparently.
You're right. I would like to call back and give you some more information, because I've got statistical facts on this stuff. This is nothing that I'm making up. This is real as can be. And like I said, and it's so corrupted. And
absolutely, the criminal justice system is it's a disastrous, corrupt system, and unfortunately, it's not going to get any better. I think it all stems from the plea bargaining. Basically, once they started plea bargaining, they had the opportunity to shove a lot more people in jail. So.
You're right, and the over-policing too. The over-policing too has been a big part of it on the omnibus bill that President Nixon brought forth. So there's a lot of things that
appreciate the call. Call back sometime. Thanks so much. All the best. 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. Or you can use the Discord chat at discord.freetalklive.com.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. You can call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
As a matter of fact, we haven't really even gotten into show prep tonight, Darryl.
Right, and I actually don't want to get into this just yet. Because I think that there's still more that we can say about the criminal justice system.
Before you go any further, because AJ was on from a correctional facility, I skipped the live read in the last segment. Want to make sure that we do it. I guess Zencash is now Horizon?
Yes.
And can you help me out with this? It's a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology, which means basically it's very private, with a decentralized secure node architecture. And that's very good to keep it as far as stability goes and that sort of thing. Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. That's HORIZEN, horizon.global.
Right, and I actually watched the hour-long live stream that they did
I missed it.
what was that, Thursday? Well, one day last week, where they had this live stream, and they do these live streams every couple of weeks. But this was one announcing a rebrand, and part of what was said during that, and we actually had Rob Viglione from Horizon on the show that night, so it would have been Wednesday. And part of the reason that they changed was they felt that the name Zencash limited the perception that people had to
right, it
think
seemed very much like currency.
It's just a currency, but the platform, and even when it was known as Zencash, they were talking about the private chat and some of these other applications that are being worked on, and they thought that Horizon broadened the scope a little bit, and keeping the ZEN in the name was
important.
Very important, not only, to sort of pay homage to what the currency was, but also to keep, the currency ticker as ZEN.
I think it's. I sincerely hope that they do very, very well in the future. I think Zencash is a great project, and I hope Horizon, turns it into a great platform.
Yes.
Do you know if Zencash, the currency, is still
Zen? It is just Zen.
Got it.
Yeah, so they have dropped the word cash.
Yeah, I
it
generally
is just Zen.
use the word Zen to describe it anyway, so there you go.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phones.
Symbol ZEN.
Donnie calling in from Ohio, listening on YouTube. Donnie, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yes. Today I saw about that shooting in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, no. What happened?
I just wanted to know what your guys' thought was on that.
Don't know anything about it.
Yeah, I guess 4 people was shot, 11 wounded, 4 dead. I'm not positive. You can't quote me on that.
How awful.
But I think they need to step up more on the mental health field with people and stuff like that, and look at this a lot better by trying to reach out to people. And the system is so bad when it comes to that stuff. And I just wanted to know what your guys' thought was on that.
Well,
my initial thought is, and can you turn down whatever your headphone or something, because there is a lot of echo.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me better now?
Oh, I can hear you. The problem is I'm hearing myself. Mark, can you just mute him?
Yeah, I'm going to put him on hold here.
And I'll give my thoughts. My thoughts on this, just like any other tragedy, is it's a tragedy, and I don't want to wind up trying to come up with some sort of thought of here's how you solve it, because there are so many things that nobody knows yet.
Yeah. I kind of, to me, mental health is certainly an issue in many of these situations, but we're so far from figuring out even what mental health means. It's just difficult and tragic. Go ahead, Donnie. Can you hear me?
I think he's trying to listen to us on the radio instead of actually through his cell phone.
Yep. Thanks for the call, Donnie. Appreciate it. I have a difficult time. I don't know how to run this board and put him on hold the way that Ian does. I just use the hold button here. And so if he can't hear, then
Oh, that's a fine way to put somebody on hold.
Okay, great. The number's 855-450-3733. And, these shootings are going to continue. You just got to be prepared for this, America, world. The shootings are going on all around the world, whether you're talking about places that have good mental health networks or bad ones, places that have good gun laws or bad, whatever you might define those as.
Right, and there are some people that they'll point to places like Britain that have very stringent gun laws. And yes, there are per capita fewer shootings in Britain than there are in the United States, but there are just as many, if not more, violent crimes in Britain than there are in the United States. The problem isn't guns. The problem isn't knives. The problem isn't baseball bats. The problem is that people don't respect humanity and respect the lives of other people, and there might certainly be some mental health problems in there as well, but just saying give mental health treatment doesn't go at the root cause of the problem, and I don't know how to get to the root cause of the problem.
Yeah, mental health treatment often means incarceration for people who haven't committed a crime. And that's a very difficult thing for libertarians to justify. And if one does justify it, they're going to have a difficult time because, well, there's going to be some sad stories about those people who got incarcerated without having committed a crime.
Right, and most states have some kind of involuntary mental evaluation process. I think in Florida it's called the Baker Act.
In Florida it's called the Baker Act.
Yeah, I know I've heard you and Ian talk about that before. In Pennsylvania, I think they call it a 302, which is based on the section of law that allows that to happen. And a lot of this can just be if somebody winds up saying something that is construed as, I'm going to hurt myself.
There's all those things. There was a situation I remember in Longboat Key when I was living in Sarasota where two neighbors, one was a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist neighbor was upset with the other neighbor for something.
Right.
Baker acted him. And ultimately, they came back after the psychologist lady for whatever the situation was. But that's the only way you ever hear about this. How many people have been Baker acted over sort of petty disputes?
Or whatever the state equivalent is where you live.
Right, or whatever.
I know in Pennsylvania it happens quite frequently. I worked hospital security, and I would have to go sit outside of the emergency room area when psychiatrists were talking to people to make sure if the person wound up getting violent, security was there. And yeah, a lot of it was just, sort of off-the-cuff statements of, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. It's messed up. Oh, I think Daddy's going to kill himself.
Yeah.
No, Daddy's expressing frustration at people being idiots.
Well,
maybe he just got done watching Futurama and he summoned his inner Hubert Farnsworth.
The Earth isn't going to stop being populated by idiots anytime soon.
I know.
I do have hope. I have sympathy for this small group primate called Homo sapien. I think that we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it just by the hair of our chinny chins. But
I'm not sure what that means.
What do you mean?
We're going to make it. I don't know what you mean.
Oh, it's likely. Why aren't there aliens? If the galaxy or the universe is 15 billion years old, why haven't we seen any aliens?
Maybe they don't want to deal with us.
Maybe. But maybe they all blew themselves up in thermonuclear reactions because they couldn't get along.
Why aren't there dinosaurs anymore? They didn't make it.
Well,
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
What do you mean humans are going to make it?
I mean,
at some point in the future, humans will cease to exist.
It's going to be a long way in the future. And at this point, you can't predict what's going to do it. It isn't going to be the sun burning out because we've got plenty of time to get off this planet. Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I'm David Hall, founder of Diamond Gusset, where we're proud of our 100% grown and sewn American-made jeans. Whether you're out for dinner, working on the farm, or on the road, Diamond Gusset Jeans offers a full spectrum of styles and sizes for any occasion. To find yours, visit gusset.com. That's GUSSET.com. Our loyal customers enable us to continue sponsoring Liberty media outlets like the one you're listening to. In Liberty, David Hall, Diamond Gusset Jean Company.
Are you retired or facing retirement and you're afraid your income is going to be less than you'd like? I'm Pharmacist Keith. Dr. Wallach, the Dead Doctors Don't Lie guy, and I want to show you a low-cost way to create your own business working around your current schedule, creating extra income that will last for years to come by joining Dr. Wallach's crusade, spreading his message of better health. To learn more, visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com, radio.recordedvideo.com, or call 866-257-3105 for a recorded message.
The easiest thing in the world for a reader to do is to stop reading, according to the late, great Barney Kilgore, who became managing editor of the Wall Street Journal in 1941 and grew the paper's circulation from 33,000 to 1 million by the 60s. And he'd be pleased to know that his paper is one of the few that people now pay to read online. Someone else pre-internet who realized that attention is fragile? Motown Records founder Berry Gordy. In the early 60s, when his label dominated the charts, he'd bring a dozen real people into the Hitsville, USA studios and audition songs. And he'd ask, if you were down to your last dollar, would you spend it on this record or would you buy a sandwich? Today, attention span seems like an oxymoron. For tips on cutting through the clutter, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live's Live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. The number is 855-450-3733. I'd tell you what we're talking about, but we are so far gone at this point. I got nothing for you. 855-450-FREE or the Discord. I want to tell you about that real quick. So if you go to discord.freetalklive.com, you have the opportunity to download the Discord app, or you can just use the web interface. It's discord.freetalklive.com. It's a chat room. And it is a great audio interface for the show. Kind of like Skype. Like, voice over IP. Anyway.
But there's also chat rooms in the Discord, so it's not just like Skype.
It's a very robust chat room. You can do lots of things there. It's discord.freetalklive.com. Darryl, we've been teasing all night long this collective bargaining thing. Apparently Trump, changed the rules as far as how easy it is, made it easier to fire federal government bureaucrats in the attempt to drain the swamp. And then one of the federal bureaucrats decided, no, you can't do that. Is that right?
I don't think you could classify federal judges as bureaucrats.
No? I do. As far as I'm concerned, you work for the government. You are one of two. You're a politician who lies, cheats, and steals in order to get where they are.
All right.
Or you're a bureaucrat that works for the government and you don't have to be elected.
Okay, so based on that, then yes, but based on the initial thing that you said about the executive order allowing them to more easily fire bureaucrats, that order had nothing to do with judges.
That much is true. I'm not saying that all bureaucrats are judges, just that judges are bureaucrats.
All right, so I think we're going to have a difficult time communicating here what this story is if you're going to wind up classifying judges as federal employees, hence bureaucrats who have the right to collectively bargain. Judges do not have the right to collectively bargain.
That's correct.
This article is about a judge making a decision about the right of federal employees to collectively bargain and how that fits in with some executive orders that Trump signed back in May.
How long do you think it's going to be before judges begin to collectively bargain themselves?
I have absolutely no clue how to answer that question because I don't think about judges trying to collectively bargain because I don't consider judges to be bureaucrats. And I think you're just trying to annoy me.
At this point, I am, but I mean, I think that judges fit the definition of a bureaucrat. They're somebody appointed to a position by somebody in the executive. They just fit the definition of bureaucrat. I understand that there's a different types of bureaucrats, and most of them can collectively bargain, whereas judges are not in that category.
I would consider judges to be unelected politicians myself.
Okay, fine. I don't know even what to call that. I mean, that's fine. Unelected politician. If you've got a different term for it,
you don't get appointed as a judge unless you've got some connections to the people that make the appointments.
Can you tell me who the other unelected politicians are? I mean, so judges are unelected politicians.
I'd say the members of the FCC board, basically anybody that has the title chairman of.
Okay. And maybe generals to some extent?
High-ranking military officials, definitely. There's a lot of politicking in D.C. that has nothing to do with whether or not the people put a little check mark next to your name in November.
So there's much is similar about an unelected politician as it is to a bureaucrat, but there's a distinction in your mind because they're sort of appointed and they tend to come and go based on the happiness of the new president.
Appointments generally have a term, whereas a bureaucrat is you're hired.
All right.
Indefinitely.
At least we've got a term. Please go ahead.
You work for the Smithsonian until you quit. So, again, article from Reuters. Federal judge on Saturday, in a rare Saturday ruling, rejected key elements of President Donald Trump's May executive orders that would make it easier to fire federal employees and reduce their ability to bargain collectively. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia said in the court order that Trump's order, which would also reduce the amount of time low-performing employees had to improve their performance before being fired, quote, undermines federal employees' rights to bargain collectively.
I'd like to say this, is that once your organization reaches the point that your crappiest employees have rights to a job, you're through. The best way to increase productivity is to cull, C-U-L-L, cull your lowest performers. And that's best for everybody because everybody's good at something.
I don't want the federal government to be effective or functioning. I want all of their employees to be the worst performing employee.
I suppose, but they're often well paid.
That's like the worst case. Best case scenario, you fire every single one of them and you don't replace them.
That's happening through attrition. The federal government and state governments around the nation are having a difficult time just filling seats at this point. And Trump is actually making it more difficult for people to get hired. So
good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, whoever replaces him probably isn't going to continue to make it difficult. But, even at this rate, it would still only be about 574 billion years before everybody wound up, quitting and dying in D.C. Let's continue with the article. Trump signed 3 executive orders in May that administration officials said would give government agencies greater ability to remove employees with poor performance, obtain, quote, better deals in union contracts, end quote, and require federal employees with union responsibilities to spend less time on union work. The directives drew immediate criticism from American Federation of Government Employees, which said the move would hurt veterans, law enforcement officers, and others. Jackson ruled that
we've listed all the people that everybody really likes, the veterans and the law enforcement officers. Harry Brown had a saying, and this is the two-time presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, and I think a really great libertarian because he really came up with some good sayings, is when you think about the military, look, it's just the post office in fatigues. There's nothing special about them. It's a government bureaucracy, and if you don't believe it's a government bureaucracy, like other government bureaucracies, talk to somebody who's been in it.
Yeah.
Talk to a lifetime member of the military. What was the Free Talk Live's web specialist, Sergeant? He was the libertarian guy that died recently in about the last year. I don't know. He posted stuff for us. Anyway, he was a master.
You're talking about Lee Wrights?
Yeah, Sergeant Wrights. Sergeant Wrights posted for years and as Free Talk Live on Facebook, and other people did too. But he was prolific, and this guy had been in the military for 20-something years. He knew what that bureaucracy was all about, and it's just a bureaucracy.
Continuing with the article here, Judge Jackson ruled that while the president has the authority to issue executive orders relating to federal labor relations, the orders cannot, quote, eviscerate the right to bargain collectively as envisioned in a long-standing federal statute. Jackson's ruling continued that the president must be deemed to have exceeded his authority in issuing these orders.
It's interesting that the chief executive, who is tasked with enforcing the law as they understand it, could possibly overstep their bounds. But I suppose the judge has to bump it. The only way to bump this up to the Supreme Court is by continuing to say that the president did something wrong.
Right, and from here it would wind up going to the full Court of Appeals, and then from the Court of Appeals it could go to the Supreme Court. And
if Trump only gets one term, do you think this will actually make it to the Supreme Court by the time that he's out of there?
Probably not, because things don't generally go fast in the federal court system.
Do you think Trump has... how do you think Trump's done in his campaign promise of draining the swamp? I don't mean success. I mean attempts. Like sort of good faith attempts.
Are you asking me, and I want to make sure that I understand the question correctly, are you asking me if I think that Donald Trump has made a good faith attempt to drain the swamp, whatever that actually means?
Yes.
No.
No? I mean, don't you think that this thing against which that's judge ruled here was some good faith attempt? Just to make it easier to fire government bureaucrats?
This particular thing, maybe, but when you add it in with everything else horrible that he's done, no. Jeff Sessions expanding the drug war, not a good faith attempt to drain anything except for your pockets.
He makes fun of Jeff Sessions. Free Talk Live.
Let's talk tough. Let's talk comfort. Let's talk about down-home value. Made in the USA blue jeans, like you wore as a kid. Remember?
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
For good old-fashioned comfort, get Diamond Gusset jeans. Every stitch guaranteed. And our Defender motorcycle jean comes Kevlar reinforced. See them at GUSSET.com, that's gusset.com, or call 888-848-7738. That's 888-848-7738. Diamond Gusset jeans got it, others don't.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com. The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, August 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $14.82 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,206 per ounce. Zen is trading at $19, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,702. Antiwar.com reports in March, Russia retaliated for the U.S. expulsion of Russian diplomats with the closure of a U.S. consulate and the expulsion of 60 American diplomats. U.S. officials were quoted in the New York Times on Friday confirming that this included a number of U.S. spies. Exactly how many spies were expelled from Russia in this closure is not clear, but the officials quoted said that the loss of intelligence officers has hurt collection efforts for the intelligence community. This was apparently a substantial blow to the U.S. spies operating inside Russia, and combined with increased counterintelligence efforts by Russia, they say the CIA and other U.S. spy agencies are increasingly in the dark about Russia's intentions. And while that's certainly interesting in and of itself, the admission is more startling, as it is a de facto admission that U.S. officials in Russia as diplomatic agents were illegally operating as spies against their hosting country. While there have been reports in the past that the U.S. uses its embassies and consular officers as secret spy posts, and at times uses diplomatic immunity to get spies into other countries with legal protection, this is not what embassy staff are supposed to be doing. Yet expelling 60 diplomats from Russia not only swept up U.S. spies, it swept up so many spies as to at least partially cripple the U.S. spying operations in Russia. That suggests the practice is widespread, perhaps more than previously imagined. It's also difficult to argue that it is not the administration's fault. Given Russia's penchant for identical retaliatory measures, the expulsion of 60 Russian diplomats could have been predicted to lead to 60 American diplomats getting booted, which is exactly what happened.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com. UPI reports Elon Musk has decided not to take Tesla private after considering to do so earlier this month. Musk, the CEO of the electronic vehicle and energy company, attributed the decision to the will of his investors. A statement from Musk said, "Although the majority of shareholders I spoke to said they would remain with Tesla if we went private, the sentiment in a nutshell was, please don't do this." Among their objections, Musk said some investors noted they have internal compliance issues that limit how much they can invest in a private company. Musk added that time and money also motivated the decision. Musk said, "This is a problem because we absolutely must stay focused on ramping Model 3 and becoming profitable. We will not achieve our mission of advancing sustainable energy unless we are also financially sustainable." Musk announced the decision Friday after meeting with the board of directors Thursday to let them know he believes staying public was the best move going forward. The board agreed. You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerous supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $1 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports a federal judge on Saturday rejected key elements of President Donald Trump's May executive orders that would make it easier to fire federal employees and reduce their abilities to bargain collectively. Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia said in a court order that Trump's orders, which also would reduce the amount of time low-performing employees had to improve their performance before being fired, undermine federal employees' right to bargain collectively. Trump signed 3 executive orders in May that administration officials said would have given government agencies greater ability to remove employees with poor performance, obtain better deals in union contracts, and require federal employees with union responsibilities to spend less time on union work. The directives drew immediate criticism from the American Federation of Government Employees, which said the moves would hurt veterans, law enforcement officers, and others. Jackson ruled that while the president has the authority to issue executive orders relating to federal labor relations, the orders cannot eviscerate the right to bargain collectively as envisioned in a long-standing federal statute. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is The Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live. Kicking off the 3rd hour. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. You are free to call in and talk live here with us. Welcome. Let's go right to the phones. We've got Jet calling from the Great Northwest, listening on YouTube. Jet, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, guys. Hi. Well, you know that I appreciate you, right?
Thank you.
Yeah, I do. I've been with you guys probably since near the beginning.
Darn near it. Near the syndicated beginning, that's for sure.
At one point, let's see, about 10 years ago, I was amping about $80 a month, something like that. But that went away from different reasons. But I wanted to, that I typically call them something similar, and that is my ongoing quest to nullify governments, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I've tried to come up with different strategies, different methodologies to be able to communicate to other people. And first of all, I'd like to start out with how governments are created. And that is, a group of people get together and in a room or whatever, and they repeat something similar to this. We hereby grant ourselves the right, power, and authority to grant ourselves rights, powers, and authorities. So it's all this sorcery and magic that goes on.
Pretty much.
So I came up with this idea probably a couple of weeks ago that, how I'm always saying how you should talk about individuals and not about the collective things like government, states, societies, that kind of thing.
I should call it people in government as opposed to government.
Yeah, but so I've come up with maybe a monetary scale that I want to introduce to you, the idea that I would pay you $1 every time you said something similar to these people calling themselves whatever are just other people, other humans who have absolutely no right to do anything that you or I may not do. And then,
is there a shorter word for that? Because that would get very lengthy and then tie up conversations a lot.
Yeah, do we just say these people calling themselves the state of New Hampshire or whatever it is, and that would qualify, or are you saying that...
Right, but the local Keene cop doesn't call himself State of New Hampshire. He calls himself local cop.
Yep.
Yeah. No, the most important part of the sentence or the introduction, and it's something that Ian did, I think even last night. It was pretty cool. I was just falling off my chair. But it's that who have absolutely no right to do anything that they do, or that you and I may not do.
Right.
That's the important part, that we communicate that these people have usurped these positions, and they're just other people and have absolutely no right to do anything that they do. So that's the part. And if you can kind of work that in, I'll pay you $1 in regular dollars or crypto for something like that. But if you use the generic term, government, state, society, that kind of thing, by itself, then I take away $1.
You're going to have to keep the accounting going.
That sounds like a lot of math.
Yeah. I don't mind. Because I listen every day. And then, of course, the way you hit the zero is by saying the people calling themselves blah blah blah. Anyway,
so hit the zero. What does that mean precisely?
In other words, you're not winning or losing.
He will neither add or subtract.
The people calling themselves. Okay. See, I always felt like that was what you were trying to communicate from the very beginning. Was just say the people calling themselves X.
Well, that was initially, but then I could never get you guys to do that. You'd say it maybe when I was talking to you, but then it would just kind of go away as the night went on. And
one of the things that one wants to do when one's doing live radio is that one wants to shorten up what you say as quickly as you can, and saying terms like government is significantly easier than saying the people calling themselves the United States federal government have said X or
Y. My point has always been that there is no such thing as local, state, and federal governments. They're just people.
Sure.
Now, if you want to say the gang calling themselves, or the mafia, or use other terms like that, derogatory terms, when referring to this thing we call government, that's a different thing. We can talk about that. But the main thing to broadcast are these people are just other people. Yep. They don't have any right, absolutely anywhere.
No extra rights. They've got rights. Their rights are equal to ours. And then they can't. But they can't hire somebody who then goes about and doing extra things. So, for instance,
from a moral standpoint, correct. But
they do.
From the legal standpoint, the guy that is given the title Mayor of Keene, he gets to hire the police chief, and then I think the city council winds up saying, yes, we like your choice of police chief, and then the police chief gets to hire people to be police officers, and those people will do the things that the mayor says to do, and the judge in the local court, he will wind up upholding the things that those officers do. So in their system, they perceive that they have these extra rights. And if you try to make this argument to the local judge, it's no longer Judge Burke. I forget the judge's name now. But if you try to make this argument to the local judge, they will wind up saying, contempt of court, bailiff, arrest that man.
That's very nice. That's very nice. But what we're trying to get across here are ways to change people's minds to nullify it. So let me define what is legal and what's not for you. Legal simply means that a group of people, strangers, got together and had an opinion.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
They then hired thugs to force that opinion upon the rest of us. So these are the things that need to be communicated, not to support anything at all having to do with their so-called power. In other words, not to give them 1 ounce of any power, because they're just other flesh and blood sinners, and they don't deserve, to do whatever they do. And it just bugs the crap out of me that anybody gives them any credence at all. And once you come to this place in your mind where you see them and talk to them and refer to them as just other people, that's when things change. That's when countries change. That's when borders change.
So cops leave you alone? They don't wind up giving you speeding tickets?
No, he's talking about a societal level.
I approach police in a different manner. I mean, the first time, they come up to you, I say, how may I help you? Because obviously they've turned on their lights and things because they need my help for something. And typically
they are trying to get your attention.
And I never answer their questions. Whatever they say, whether you're coming from or what, never answer those. I don't answer questions. I just talk about different things like, hey, so how's it going tonight, that kind of thing. But anyway, that's what I want to get across, that if we can somehow broadcast this concept, and you can shorten it up as much as you can, that these are just other people have absolutely no right to do anything that they do, that you or I may not do. I mean, find the shortest way possible. But that's the thing that Ian went off on a rant last night, and that was really cool. Anyway, just wanted to pass that on. Use derogatory terms. Do not give any deference at all to anybody calling themselves government, state, legislators, governors.
Do you think that's why the cop trainer called in and started to, do his little shtick where, hey, driving on the road, there's no, it ain't in the Constitution.
That was amazing, wasn't it? It's like, I don't see anywhere in the Constitution where you have a right to pick your nose. I mean, I'm going,
Ninth Amendment.
Are you joking me?
Just because you've not listed that I have the right doesn't mean that I don't have the right.
I understand. And that's basically what I told him.
It's so hard to believe that people actually think that way, that somehow, well, first of all, the Constitution was nullified by the Civil War, never re-ratified during whatever they call its construction. It turned out that the corporation was formed, which meant bankrupt in 1933. We're working under administrative law, which is simply the rule of the barrel of a gun, and it's all usurpation, and it doesn't need to continue.
It's always been the rule of a barrel of a gun. That's why George Washington sent the militia after the tax protesters.
Yeah, I tend to think that they still pay deference to the Constitution, but they don't pay any attention to it. Anyway, thank you for the call, Jed. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna try my best.
All right.
Free Talk Live.
Give it a try. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Zencash is now Horizon. Horizon is a privacy platform built on zero-knowledge technology with a decentralized secure node architecture. The Horizon platform enables real-life uses beyond currency, including the ability to privately chat with other people. Soon, Horizon will enable you to publish information and go anywhere on the web, all with complete privacy. Horizon, bringing privacy to life. Learn more at horizon.global. HORIZEN.global.
Free Talk Live.
I'm sure I can speak for many of thousands. I don't fear illegals. I don't want them here and their filth that they bring with and the disease that they bring with.
All the people who work in the stores and the markets and the restaurants are overwhelmingly Hispanic, and they seem very clean and be doing a fine job here, and I've never heard anything about problems with disease.
For you to defend the illegal immigrants, and I'm not sure, as I said earlier, which host at what time is very condescending. defending.
Madam, I will defend anybody that is peaceful and looking for a better life for themselves. We already pointed out.
I don't defend them. I wish that people like you.
You say that Mexicans are filthy, and you call me condescending, lady? You say they're disease-ridden and filthy, and I'm condescending?
And they are. And
You're outrageous. Get out of here. Thank you for the call.
She's had all her rope. She's hung herself.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. It's Live Sunday edition. Mark with you.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Bitcoin.com wants you to know about saveatpurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved on average 15% for a combined $4 million using BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash to fund your account. You can save between 5 and 33% on things that you're going to buy anyway through Amazon when you shop using saveatpurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. They've actually got videos over there at saveatpurse.com to help you with it. Saveatpurse.com. Let's go to Kyle calling in from Illinois. Listening on the radio. Kyle, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey,
can you hear me, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, what's on
You're
your
on the
mind?
radio. Go ahead. You're on the radio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I was just calling in asking your opinion on the shooting that happened in Jacksonville, Florida today.
I heard about it. Somebody called in about it, but I can't say I know any of the facts as far as a shooting, other than people died.
What I heard was apparently it was a competitor who got mad at another team because he lost, and then decided to...
What kind of competitor?
It was some kind of video game tournament.
It was a football game.
Okay. Well, it seems like a stupid reason to go crazy, but it looks like...
Most of the time when people wind up shooting other people, it's a stupid reason.
Yeah, most of the time. There's some YouTuber I think today, that decided to run the opposite direction on the freeway at 100 miles an hour, killed two people and himself. So, world's full of nuts. I don't know what to say. Kyle, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. 855-450-3733.
So when you say this YouTube guy was running the opposite, like he was driving the opposite way, or like he just started
he was committing
running
suicide
on the street?
Yeah, he committed suicide by taking a vehicle and driving.
Okay, he was driving.
He was not running at 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I didn't hear the 100 miles an hour.
100
just
miles
heard running the opposite way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I don't want to sound callous, but you got this many people around, some of them are going to commit suicide. It's YouTuber McSkillet killed in crash after driving a McLaren. Wow. Somebody ought to kill him for destroying this beautiful car. Oh, he's dead. Yeah, on a California highway in the wrong direction. Police say.
Can't say I've ever heard of the guy, but everybody's got a YouTube channel now. So
I'm a YouTube star now, right? I mean, everybody's a YouTube star.
Slapping YouTuber before something doesn't necessarily mean he was famous.
Yeah, vlogger Trevor Heitman, 18, was driving his McLaren supercar at more than 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction when it collided with a Hyundai SUV in which a mother and daughter were traveling, according to officers. All three died following the impact.
Horrible.
Yeah, it's horrible. The world's messed up. Speaking of cars, let's talk to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yes. Boy, what a way to end the life. Just auto crashes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Anyways, well, I just wanted to mention that, all of our surrounding states, like Texas, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, they all have red light cameras. And the funny thing is, our state have no red light cameras whatsoever.
All right.
And I just think it's very peculiar.
Well, surrounding countries to the United States have kangaroo courts and high debt and crappy freedom ratings on things like that. I mean, just because somebody's doing something doesn't mean that it's a good idea, right?
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that why would they have these things? Like
revenue.
All of their economy.
The answer is revenue.
It's all about revenue, Sarah.
It's all about the money.
We've tried explaining this to you numerous times.
Here, let me try it. It's the cheddar, right? Like they want to rob people who drive cars, and the vast majority of people drive cars. So this is essentially a tax.
Sarah doesn't like cars.
I know she doesn't, but
which is why she doesn't mind that people that drive cars and make a legal right-hand turn at certain intersections still wind up getting tickets as if they have somehow violated some rule of the road.
That does happen with red light cameras, but probably the worst thing with red light cameras is that people
increased accidents because people slam on their brakes.
Yeah, people become used to them. They slam on their brakes. They get rear-ended. Some of the people who get rear-ended at high speed. Some of the people who get rear-ended at high speed die. So red light cameras kill.
Wait. But all the other states, they got more money than New Mexico. New Mexico is like the poorest state.
Okay.
We have no red light cameras.
The two things have nothing to do with one another, Sarah. Wisconsin has a lot of cheese. That doesn't have anything to do with the price of milk in China.
Let her finish. Go ahead, Sarah.
Okay, look at it. Okay, they have better public safety, more companies, more decent people want to move there. We have number one in pedestrian fatalities. Do you know how many homicides we had this year? How about 75 in the state of New Mexico?
Let me ask you this.
What does that have to do with red light cameras?
Let me ask you this, Sarah. So some things are going badly in New Mexico. All right, I'll take your word for it. I don't know. Why do you continue to live there? I picked up my life, and I moved for the Free State Project many years ago to hopefully work for more liberty for me and my fellow man. Why?
You know what? I have been asking myself that recently. It's we're number one in pedestrian bicycle hit and run and pedestrian fatalities, and I think we're going to murder another 50 more people by Christmas. And I'm thinking, the more I thought about it, but the thing about it is that here's the thing: on my fixed income, it's very. One of the reasons is cost of living. I have a nice apartment, and they have a lot of Section 8 apartments. I could buy, for $30, I could eat for a whole week on that money.
How do you eat for $30?
Well, I mean, groceries. I mean, the pizza is only $1.50 a piece. A sardine is $1 a can. A spaghetti is with $1. It's very cost effective for fixed.
Is that like a restaurant or is that a store bought?
She said groceries. So
okay, but I'm just trying to figure out spaghetti. They don't sell that. Is that dry pasta? That's $1?
Yes, Mark. You can buy dry pasta, and then when you put it in hot boiling water,
I know that
it
Darryl.
Cooks.
What I'm saying is that I don't understand whether she's talking about a can of spaghetti. There's things called SpaghettiOs.
She's talking about a box of spaghetti noodles.
Okay, that's not a meal. You got to have some meat with it, right?
Well, the thing
there are vegetarians that don't eat meat, so they just put some sauce on it.
You're presuming that those aren't alien visitors.
So, the senior centers here, that you could get lunch for $2 here, and the kids all get to eat for free here. So they figured out we're not that poor as they thought they were. Because our money goes so much farther because the prices are so much cheaper.
There you go. That's a good reason. Just watch out when you're on the sidewalks then. It's problem solved. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dylan Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dylan bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dylan bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dylan bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
Check out our AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. If you like liberty, please support the AMP program at amp.freetalklive.com. What we do is we aim to put Free Talk Live on as many radio stations as possible around the United States. And in order to do that, well, it's all we got to do is make more calls. More calls mean more stations. And maybe it's a little bit of advertising. That doesn't hurt either.
There's definitely advertising and marketing that helps.
And also, we'd like to get more downloads, too. I mean, podcasts have become quite the big thing. Free Talk Live used to be the #1 podcast in the country, as rated by Podcast Alley, many months in a row. And that's
for
something...
a specific category, or
no, that wasn't back
#1
then.
overall?
No, this was back when, podcasting started.
Okay.
People started using the term podcast. So, anyway, please go to amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Doug calling in from Chicago. Doug, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Yeah, pretty much I wanted to comment on the show, I believe, the other day where you were talking about the anthem or the pledge.
Yeah, the pledge. It was on Saturday night, yesterday.
Yeah, man, you really riled up the sheep. They were really calling in, weren't they?
Yeah.
They talk about loyalty to a colored flag and it meaning freedom and liberty. They get all worked up about the pledge. They get all worked up about that dumb cloth. But then when you actually have liberty and freedom trampled, which can be what they tell people that, the very definition of the flag and the pledge can be for loyalty to freedom and liberty, you never hear anything. No. We could be here all week talking about how we have freedom and liberty diminished every year. Kilo v. New London. You were talking about the Filburn ruling, I believe, back in 1938, where the government gave them more control over the economy. Your property bill that you have to pay, pretty much rent on your own property. The Patriot Act. We could be here all week talking about how we've had individual freedom and liberty diminished by the government. Now, you never hear them get angry about that. They are sheep. That can be what they are, the American people.
You think I should dangle out the promise that I will say the Pledge of Allegiance when the United States claws its way back up into the top 5 freest places in the world, as rated by, I don't know, whatever organizations, the Heritage Institute, Cato, all these other places that do ratings. There's all kinds of ratings out there. The United States isn't in the top 10 of freest places in the world on any of them that I've seen in a long time.
Right. And what they'll tell you will be that, if you don't like it here, you should go to a different country.
Yeah, they often do that.
Simultaneously complaining about people that don't like it where they're from, trying to come here for more freedom.
Look, we are all here pretty much due to being born in the geographic location that we're in.
Yep.
Yes. I don't ever recall a time being born and me being given the option of which country I would like to go to. And every government, they all make it difficult to be able to leave.
Yes.
And I'm not claiming that for the fact that I don't like America, therefore I'm in favor of another government. I wouldn't want to live in Germany. I definitely would not want to live in the UK, But we have a big problem here where we have freedom and liberty on the decline here.
Yeah.
And if you tell people, what do you have in common with even people in Keene, New Hampshire? Not very much.
Not much.
Let alone people from California. Well, if there should be one thing that culturally should be tying the country, it should be that individual freedom and liberty. And if we don't have that, then what do we have? Nothing.
Not much. I've got to say, I tend to. I agree. I agree with everything you have to say. These, when folks get all whipped up about their favorite birds, their favorite flags, and their favorite songs, their favorite pieces of cloth, it's really confusing to me.
Right, and this kind of goes back to the conversation we had at the beginning of the show about the false binary dichotomy that a lot of people buy into of when we say things could be better here, in a lot of people's minds that automatically to them thinks, oh, so you want to live in North Korea.
Right. And I made it very, very clear to these folks that, look, patriotism is a trick. The government goes about pilfering your pockets while you've got your hand over your heart and you're singing your lungs out for, this great song, right? And I understand. I have those feelings sometimes. I get where you're coming from. I understand what patriotism is. I'm not blind to this. But you got to look at the other side of it, and that is these people that call themselves the United States government are basically liars and thieves. These politicians, you'd agree these politicians are liars and thieves. And then you'll let your children go and work for them in the form of the military, put their lives on the line in the bravest ways they possibly could, and then let the politicians walk back that blood and walk back that treasure that got all those things. It's disgusting. And it's done over and over again.
Have you ever looked at human behavior, not only Milgram, but where they take people and they take like people from general public, and here you have the one individual in on it, and they put them all down at the table, and they'll go around the table, and they'll be like, the individual in on it will be, or the individual not in on it will be like, they'll go along with, okay, 2 and 2 should equal 4. And
you're talking about the Asch conformity experiments.
Yeah, so what these are is
people will conform. They will conform no matter what. It can be like peer pressure. You know what I mean? And I know for me growing up, I had to get up for the pledge for the fact that if I didn't, well, you don't want to be like the lone guy. You know what I mean? You want to fit in. And it really can be no different with being patriotic. You want to fit in. The problem with that can be that what do you have happen when you have the government incorrect and the people are following the wrong thing? You know what I mean?
Well, we know what happens. Thanks for the call, Doug. Appreciate it.
Right. It's one of those things to where people can't seem to separate the country from the government.
Yeah, they'll tell you they do. When I pledge to the flag, I pledge to dead soldiers from the past, the idea of freedom, the people around me, what this country means to me, or whatever. But in reality, what it means is it's an indoctrination.
The men and women in Washington, D.C. that are doing horrible things and stealing your money.
Well, I mean, you got to follow the money when it comes to the pledge. It's really clear. You're not saying, as a 47-year-old man, they don't care if I say the pledge or not. I know because I don't say it and they don't do anything to me.
Right.
What they want to do is they want to make sure that the pledge is included in the government school system. That way, they have a pipeline of people that they can fill their military with, and not because people will work for you in your military. But if you get them patriotic, they'll work for less. In many cases, privates in the military, people who sign up are working less than minimum wage.
That's only if you consider that they're working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Okay, well, I've heard that. I don't know. I don't get the paycheck.
I've actually run the number, and you can look online to see what the starting rates are for various things. And yeah, what they do is, well, they've got to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah, but so does an EMT, but you don't consider the time that they're at home, they're working, they're on call, and they get an on-call rate.
All right. I stand corrected. I don't know this. I've just heard that number out there. But either way, you're asking these young men and women to put their lives in their lines, to catch bullets in foreign countries for the whims of liars and thieves, and then
stop sending them overseas.
And then having those liars and thieves walk back, give away everything, every hill, every square inch that those people fought and died for, gone. How many people died in Afghanistan? What's the United States presence there now? The Taliban just took over another town.
Right.
I mean, I can't tell you what to do with your children because your children are also free, but this is unjust. Come on. I mean, seriously. Why would you want to give anything to these people? They're liars. You know they are. You know that politician is synonymous with a liar and a thief. The last thing you would want to do is wear their uniform and go out and do their bidding when you know what they value you as. You're a piece of meat.
They don't value you.
Right.
Not at all. And I just want to keep stressing, don't buy into this whole false dichotomy thing. If I go to a restaurant and I order a steak and I want the steak cooked medium and they send it out well done and I say, you burnt my steak, the response isn't, well, just eat a salad. No, just fix the steak.
855-450-FREE. Free Talk Live. That's 855-450-3733.
Fix your damn country and don't tell me to go to Somalia.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Liquid Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com wants you to know about SaveItPurse.com. Since launching in 2014, over 200,000 users have saved an average of 15% for a combined $4 million using Bitcoin, or BTC. And now you can use Bitcoin Cash, BCH, to fund your account. You can save between 5 to 33% on things you're going to buy anyway when you shop using SaveItPurse.com. Add items to your cart, fund your account, select your discount, and save. SaveItPurse.com. Save ATPurse.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years. From My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. Preparewithgcn.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the final segment. It's Mark with you.
And Darryl.
You're welcome to call in, talk about anything you want. It has been across the board this evening, and anything from the right to travel, the end times, and now patriotism and conversation we had last night. I just want to make it clear, it's not like basically you were talking about this dichotomy thing, Darryl, where it's one thing or the other. And if you don't give lip service to, whatever, to the United States government and say, hey, I love it here, we love it or leave it, and all that
I think this is the greatest thing ever in the history of ever.
Then you hate it.
And not only do you hate it, but you should move to the least free place as determined by me.
Yep. And I would like to think about this in a different way. Patrick Byrne, who is the CEO of Overstock.com, described it this way, and I think that this is the really the best way to describe it. The government is a service organization. It's a monopoly service organization, but nonetheless, it claims to be a service organization. There's all kinds of varieties of services they claim to provide.
Yes. Services that you might not want.
Right. You don't get mad because somebody doesn't use your plumber. You don't get mad because somebody doesn't use your auto mechanic. But you're darn mad if somebody doesn't give proper obeisance to the monopoly security company that runs your nation. Right? Like, that's what's going on here. For me, the United States government is a security organization and, other services, and they're bad at it. Okay? Attacks go on in this country all the time, and it's everybody's fault but the government. The government's been here the whole time for 230 years, and the attacks continue to go on. They claim to provide you with freedom and with protection, and they do neither.
The one thing that they are really good at is throwing people in jail, and they're not even good at making sure the right person
Right. They're good at turning
convicted.
people against each other. Like, look, I don't know if it's the government or the political parties and what the difference is between those organizations. Best I can tell, the government are the Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah, pretty much.
And those people make it their living to make you hate somebody on the other side. And as long as they can keep those numbers relatively even, they win. 855-450-3733. Let's go to Matt calling in from Louisiana. Matt, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, well, I mean, those things can be possible at the same time. Jehovah's Witness can't stand for the pledge. It's against their religion.
They can, but yeah.
But they can be patriotic. So
really? No, I think that they... Yeah. So I don't know what they mean by patriot, but tell me what patriotic means and use a definition.
I do think that they love the land and the people of the land. I am not sure. I'm not deep into their theology about how they feel about the government.
So let me ask you this. Not to say that what you're saying is wrong, but as a good Christian person who believes the Bible, should you love somebody who's in Iowa more than you love somebody who's in, Stalingrad? Stalingrad's the word I was looking for. Leningrad, someplace in Russia.
I like the people of Russia. I like the people of Iowa more. I like the people of Louisiana more still. I like my family and love my family above all those people.
So there's people all over the United States and all over the world that I think are great, and there's some douches in Keene, New Hampshire. I just don't, All
right, so here's a question. Louisiana isn't... It's not exactly, like right next door to Mexico, but it's a lot closer to parts of Mexico than Louisiana is to New Hampshire. Do you have a more fond, are you more fond of the people in parts of Mexico that are closer to you than you are to people in the U.S. that are further away?
I tend to favor, in my opinion, the people of my own country more than people of another country. This does not mean I dislike them. They can be some very wonderful people. But actually what I called about was Sarah from New Mexico.
Okay.
And
you love her because she's in the United States, right?
Right, and actually because she's also a frequent caller for Free Talk Live. And for some reason I always smile when I hear her. She's like everybody's favorite cranky aunt. But she was talking about red light cameras and the lack of revenue for the government. And I would posit to her, if she checks out ALEC and freedom in the 50 states, she's probably going to find more of the problems that New Mexico exists there than they do with red light cameras. I mean, they have speed cameras in New Orleans that do an excellent job of catching parked car as speeding.
They also have those speed cameras in New Mexico, and she's called in to talk about how wonderful those are.
Yeah, I've heard these speed cameras. I often hear fewer complaints about speed cameras than I do about red light cameras. Best I can tell, red light cameras are in fact deadly because of the way that humans react to them,
yes,
as opposed to speed cameras, which are annoying because speed limits are set artificially low as a revenue-generating system.
Well, it would be, I think, a little more effective if they didn't catch cars going 0 miles per hour.
Oh, sure. Obviously, there's some kind of technological issue there.
Right, or the people who calibrate the cameras are just stupid.
Right.
Yeah, and my whole point with, why I don't like any of these things is supposedly in the justice system that we have, and I say supposedly because, the justice system doesn't really work the way it's supposed to, but supposedly you have a right to face your accuser. When the accuser is some computer that spits out a ticket because something got triggered somewhere, how do I call the computer to the stand to testify against me?
I'd roll it right up there, and you can ask any questions you'd like to.
Well,
see, that's the thing. Is that
it's like a ride on Star Trek.
Well, I mean, in the modern world, we have to be able to. We use computers for things, and if one of those things is checking the speed of people going by, then that's one thing. Look, I think that people should be able to point out sometimes these cameras are wrong, and I don't really think I was going that fast. Then the judge is stuck saying
that I was the person in the driver's seat of the car. All you've got is a picture of the ass end.
Sometimes they take pictures of the front end too. I don't know if they got that. Is that sufficient for you? I don't know. I mean, when you get your license in your car, don't you basically what the town of Keene, New Hampshire will say is if you parked in the wrong spot, anybody gets to they give you a ticket. They give a ticket to the license plate holder, and that plate holder can figure it out from there.
But Mark, if I'm driving your car, when you're down in Florida, and you've said, Darryl, you can drive my car. If I'm driving the car and I get pulled over by a police officer, I get the ticket, not Mark Edge.
Correct.
But if I'm driving your car and I go by one of these little flashy camera things, Mark gets the ticket, not Darryl.
And then I can testify in court, I didn't do this. And then they're going to ask me,
they will say,
who did it?
What's your physical evidence that you have that says that you didn't do it? All we have is a picture of the ass end of the car. Is this not your car? Your car was speeding. Guilty.
Here's a receipt from Denny's in DeLand, Florida on the very same day that this occurred. There's my evidence.
So are you alleging that the car was stolen? You didn't call to report it stolen.
I didn't claim that the car was stolen. You just asked me what my evidence was. I wasn't driving it. So there you go. Matthew, go on.
Obviously, Mark, all it really proves is that you have the amazing ability to be in two places at one time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Guilty.
Well, the thing is I'd probably get off, but I'd still get robbed for my day by having to go to some court hearing, God knows where.
Yeah.
But of course, Darryl did bring up the point about facing the accused and the accuser. And the challenge I have with that is that I'm a big fan of DNA evidence. But on the other hand, if that's what's being used to accuse me, and let's say I didn't do it, how do I call up Watson and Crick?
Yeah, I don't know. Makes it that much more difficult. This is, the facing your accuser is a great thing, but let's not forget that the court system evolved over 1,000 years, and the vast majority of it, we didn't have computers or DNA evidence. So, Matthew, thank you for the call. Well, there it is. Another Free Talk Live in the can. It's been Mark with you.
And Darryl. And I don't think that DNA has ever actually written a ticket for anybody. That's just a piece of evidence.
It's a piece of evidence, yeah. Ultimately, so is the reading on the gizmo that spits out the readings.
No, that's a claim that something happened.
All right. Free Talk Live, freetalklive.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free